Hello, hello, hello. We're going to do the Writer's Almanac for Monday, January 30th, 2012. Writer's Almanac, Garrison Keeler's fine little 5 minute interstitial show. It happens on National Public Radio between the end of Fresh Air and the beginning of The Story by Dick Gordon. All right, today it's the birthday of poet and novelist Richard Gary Brodigan, born in Tacoma, Washington in 1935. He moved to San Francisco where he read his poetry at psychedelic rock concerts, helped produce underground newspapers, and became involved in the beat movement. He had long blonde hair and granny glasses. In the summer of 1961, he went camping with his wife and young daughter in Idaho's Stanley Basin. He spent his days hiking, and it was there, sitting next to the trout streams with his portable typewriter, that he wrote his most famous work, Trout Fishing in America, in 1967. And I know the band Trout Fishing in America, and if you've seen Trout Fishing in America, if you haven't seen them, you need to check them out because they're fantastic. It's the birthday of the novelist and short story writer Shirley Hazzard. She was born in Sydney, Australia in 1931, and she's best known for her novel The Transit of Venus. She wrote in 1980, which won the National Book Critics Circle Award. It is the birthday of historian Barbara Tushman. Born in New York City in 1912, she wrote The Guns of August in 1962, a study of the events that led to the outbreak of World War I. She said, quote, "War is the unfolding of miscalculations," unquote. On this day in 1972, British Army paratroopers shot 27 unarmed civil rights demonstrators in Derry, Northern Ireland. An event known as Bloody Sunday. The protesters had been marching to oppose the new British policy of imposing people without a hearing. Did I say imposing? Imprisoning people without a hearing. Ugh. The Northern Irish conflict stemmed from a peace treaty signed in 1923 after Ireland's successful war for independence from Britain. The treaty partitioned Ireland, designating the largely Catholic South as an independent nation, while leaving 6 counties in Northern Ireland, which had a Protestant majority, as part of the United Kingdom. On this day, 30 January, parachute troopers were given the okay to fire on the protesters. First person killed was shot in the back. 13 people died, half of them were teenagers. All of the protesters were unarmed. Here's a poem by Ellen Steinbaum called Letter Home. I love you forever, my father's letter tells her, for 49 pages, from the troop ship crossing the Atlantic before they ever heard of Anzio. He misses her, the letter says, counting out the days of boredom, seasickness, and changing weather. Poker games played for matches when cash and cigarettes ran out. A Red Cross package, soap cards, a mystery book he traded away for the rubaiyat a bunkmate didn't want. He stood night watch and thought of her. Don't forget the payment for insurance, he says. My mother waits at home with me, waits for letters he writes day by day, moving farther across the ravenous ocean. She will get it in 3 months, and her fingers will smooth the army stationery to suede. He will come home, stand beside her in a photograph, leaning on crutches, holding me against the rough wool of his jacket. And he will sit alone and listen to Aida. And they will pick up their interrupted lives. Years later, she will show her grandchildren a yellow envelope with 49 wilted pages telling her of shimmering sequins of the water, the moonlight catching sudden phosphorescence, the churn wake that stretches like a silver tail. Letters Home by Alan Steinbaum from Container Gardening. Published by Custom Words, 2008. Reprinted by permission for the show. Production credits. Host is Garrison Keillor. Writers Betsy Allister, Priscilla Kinter, Heather McPherson, Holly Vanderhart. The technical director was Thomas Schweitzer. The engineer Noah Smith. Coordinator was Nick Vetter. And permissions were obtained by Miss Kathy Roach. And as Garrison Keillor always says, be well, do good work, and keep in touch.